Alright, welcome back to another continuation of my DIY workbench slash extra storage, right? Work in progress. And now I want to add a power strip to this, but the cord is not quite long enough to be able to plug in down there, run in behind this face frame, and then mount it here where it's out of sight, out of mind, because there's nothing more tacky or ugly or disgusting, whichever word you would like to use, if you're to mount something like this right here or right here. It just looks god awful. So my plan is to mount it like so, right? Out of sight, out of mind. It's going to be inconvenient to plug in something and use it. I would like to use this one because the basic shape matches, right? It's a big fucking rectangle. Why ain't everything's a fucking big rectangle? So this matches the shape better. But this one here actually has like a dust cover, right? You turn this 90 degrees and it opens it up, right? So if I'm doing some woodworking or I'm cutting wood or whatever else, I can keep these all closed to prevent dust, debris. But I think this is I don't know exactly what they called it, but this is like a child-proof version. This is sold at Walmart with the ONN. You might find something similar at a different store. I don't know. The other thing I like about this one is it has a lit-up switch when you turn it on. This one does not, obviously, but it's not plugged in either. But this is what I'm going to choose, even though I want to flush mount this, so it's going to be a little more complicated. I got to trace this pattern out. Eventually I'll put a piece of wood that runs probably all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom, giving it a flush mounted appearance. And it's too easy to do. Anybody who has two hands can probably do this, maybe even just one hand. I don't know. There's some pretty creative. Watched a video of a lady cutting vegetables and meat with no real fingers. She just had little nubs on the left and right hands, or what would be right hand. So all you do, turn it over, remove your screws, and there's basically 3 wires, right? Just take a picture of it if you need to. And the whole purpose of me doing this is because the wire coming up originally was not long enough out of these. So I had to cut it, get a soldering gun, heat it up, remove the solder, remove the solder, remove the solder. This one here has a failed circuit breaker, so I'm not going to use this one. And by the way, most of these power strips are only rated at 15 amps. So if you're trying to run your THX sound system and it doesn't quite do the job that you want it to do, like cuts out, it's the sound seems to like dull, is because it's only 15 amps. This is good for charging things like your battery packs, your Bluetooth speaker box, and maybe a very small router or palm sander, very small current load. But 15 amps, unless you're buying something very expensive, 15 amps is pretty much standard when it comes to these power strips. So very easy. Get your power cord, remove these wires, install your new wire for a custom application. Maybe you need it longer than what the store bought. And so you may be saying, well, why don't you just go to the store and buy another one? Well, a trip to the store that might sell one of these is a 20-minute drive one direction for me out here in the country. So it's much more easy to cut the cord on an old vacuum or something like that and add it on there, which is what I'm in the process of doing with this one right here. So I plug it in, verify that the light lights up, good. Now I plugged in a very simple circuit, a little light bulb basically. We'll turn it on. Yep, so turn it off right here as well. So I've made a good solder. Now I can button everything back up appropriately and then do my modifications here.